What is good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the WMU Football Dynasty here on College Football Revamped. It is your boy MPB. Thank you for checking out the MPB Gaming channel. We're just getting started here, but we're slowly but surely building some momentum. I would love for you all to join us on this journey. If you are new to the channel, please drop a like and make sure you subscribe. Turn that notification bell on so you don't miss another episode of the WMU Football Dynasty. And without further ado, we are coming off a thriller in the Big House as the WMU Broncos knock off the Michigan Wolverines in a stunning fashion. And next on the docket is the home opener for this series as the Broncos take on San Jose State and the Spartans in Kalamazoo, Michigan. But before we get into that, it is time to dive into the first recruiting update of the season. I'm going to do week 1 and week 2 back-to-back right now. Let's just jump right in. So we've still got all 35 prospects on our recruiting board. I can tell you right now we're going to offer some scholarships in this round. But until then, we're still at the disadvantage of only being able to scout people partly each week. There are even 15 players here that we have not scouted a single smidge yet this season. I'm going to go ahead and run through these guys real quick, see if we can find out any prominent information about them. First notable discovery here is just a little bit more information about Desi Rogers, one of our quarterback prospects. It says that he is a balanced quarterback. I don't know if I believe that with a 55 speed, but that 81 throw power and 70 throw accuracy, while not the most favorable, are definitely two attributes that we can mold into a solid quarterback prospect. All right, and just like that, everybody on the board is at least scouted 25%. With that, though, it is time to dive into the more exciting prospects that we've already scouted a little bit last week. Let's see what we can find out about these top dogs. And let's start with Charles Walton, why don't we? Scout 25 more percent. We find out his agility and stamina at 90 apiece. Charles Walton is somebody that we seriously want to get our hands on this recruiting cycle. Finding out his speed will be a huge part to the puzzle, but at 85 acceleration already, those 90 plus agility and stamina attributes I just talked about, 64 tackle, which is not terrible for a corner, as well as 72 hit power, that's 79 man. Like I said a couple of seconds ago, we need a couple more puzzle pieces to get the full picture. But we have something here. Next up, Neil Campbell. We already know he has 80 pass block and 77 impact block. And let's see what his strength is. 79? Okay. We'll take that. So that run block will be the final puzzle piece for Neil Campbell, but another prospect we absolutely want to get our hands on. He is the perfect shoe-in replacement for Caliendo, so we definitely need to get in this battle. Next up, Chris Jackson. Again, not to be confused with Tony Award-winning Chris Jackson. Let's see what we can find out about him. We did not learn much last time outside of his injury, his elusiveness, juke move, break tackle, and the ball carrier vision. But let's see what we can find out on this round. Okay, 77 route running, we can work with that, and 64 catch in traffic is not great. The catching here is going to be the really big thing. Of course, also the speed and acceleration. But once again, not a ton of information there. But as you all know, this is supposed to be a challenge. So limiting ourselves to 25% scouting a week is something we can definitely swallow. Next up, Terrell Burnett. Let's see what we can find out outside of his jumping, stamina, play rec, which is 83, didn't remember that, and 70 zone coverage as a middle linebacker. This prospect could be nice too, depending on what we find out here. 85 hit power, 76 pursuit, okay. 77 strength, 68 jumping. All right. I really want to know what this guy's tackling and speed is going to be, but as a middle linebacker prospect right now, he's looking pretty dang good. And he's the one in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, who we are 6 on. Don't even see Central in that board, which is interesting. We already know Darnell Sims' acceleration, jumping, hit power, and block shed, which are all pretty dang good attributes for a 71 strong safety. Let's see what else he's got here. 78 speed, okay. 85 excel. Tackle at 76. We'd like that to be a little higher at a strong safety, but coming out of high school, that is not bad whatsoever. The coverage skills are going to be the real deal breaker here. I don't like his speed at 78, but our expectations are not that high yet. We are still a 2-star program, everybody. Let's see what we can find out about Nick Burke. 83 speed at the outside linebacker position. Okay. 5 higher than that D-back we were just looking at. 70 acceleration. 81 tackle at the outside linebacker coming out of high school. And just like that, Nick Burke is going to be climbing up our recruiting board. All right, Blake Strong, show me the money. We already have 75 power moves discovered as well as 77 stamina and 75 acceleration. Let's see what else we can find out about Mr. Blake Strong here. His speed is not great, but he's a D tackle. Really, that's not that bad for a defensive tackle. And then the finesse and block shedding at 73 apiece will take for sure. Play rec at 76 is also great. Again, we're going to need more information on these prospects. The next skill position we're going to be scouting is Sean Joseph, the running back at 71. Let's see what he's got. Oh, he goes down What is that? Because of the ball carrier vision. His injury is decent, but then looking at the grand scheme of things here again, 83 speed, nothing to write home about. 79 acceleration, also not great for a running back. His agility is nice, but if he's not breaking many tackles and his speed isn't great, there could be some problems developing this guy. Although he's got 82 spin move. Take that as you will. Even his carrying is not what I'd like it to be at 65. Again, we'll wait for a couple more attributes here, but not quite the prospect I imagined he'd be. Let's get our first quarterback prospect to 50% scouted. How about that? Let's see if we find out any information about his actual throwing ability here. Paul Sellers, show me something good. And his throw power is a 78. We find out that his stiff arm is a 71. Okay. Ball carrier vision 65. Is that equal to the... that is almost equal to the running back. All right. So Paul Sellers here is an actual balanced quarterback, it seems like. Here's hoping that that accuracy is better than the 78 throw power. But as he stands right now, a 70 overall quarterback prospect, certainly solid. Is the price right with Rick Price? We only know his spectacular catching and his 88 route running. Right. I had totally forgotten about this dude. That is special. Let's see if his catching and speed are up to par as well. Rick Price has 94 carrying and 77 ball carrier vision. Whoa. Depending on his speed, this could be a steal. What's it looking like right now? We're 5th behind West Virginia, Marshall, Texas Tech, and Troy. Certainly manageable. If his speed rating is 90 plus, he's going to be a top 3 recruit priority here. Yeah, and looking at him further, I mean, 70 spectacular catch, 78 catch in traffic. This is a very, very interesting prospect. Ryan Mason getting some fullback love. He's the shifty one at 80 speed. Let's see what else we can find out about him. His strength is not ideal again for a fullback, but let's see what we can do. All right, and he drops considerably. The pass blocking and run blocking are not great, and he's a fullback. But his catching makes me think he is definitely a Swiss Army knife kind of fullback. And depending on how the rest of the recruiting board plays out, we might have to offer this guy a scholarship regardless, knowing that we need 2 fullbacks next year. And I don't hate it. If he's at 80 speed and can catch the ball, he might even be a tight end prospect, honestly. What is his size? Oh, he's JUCO. Hadn't even thought about that part of the equation. He's at 5'10", 220. That is not the size of a tight end. Ryan Mason, can't promise you anything. We'll see how this goes. Mr. Jeff Grigsby with the already electric 94 speed and 84 acceleration. Let's see what else we can find out about him besides his all-right break tackle and elusiveness. He's got 77 spin move, 78 stiff arm, 80 agility. Take that. 71 ball carrier vision, 83 injury. His pass block is less than exceptional. That's fine. But all right. 68 so far. Let's see how he progresses throughout the rest of the scouting process. Next QB up, John Mosley. Let's see if we can find out any quarterback relevant stats from him because we do not have any of those yet. All right. And we do not find any quarterback relevant statistics. Strength and jumping. Cool. Don't think I really needed to know that. Still waiting on the crucial parts of this prospect. His throw power, throw accuracy, and the speed. But he doesn't have any red flags just yet that would warrant him coming off the recruiting board, so we will keep him there. Next up, Phillip Brown. We already know his 89 speed and 81 acceleration, 80 jumping as well. And he's got 72 carrying and that 78 injury. Yeah, this is the guy that could potentially make as an interesting running back prospect. Let's scout him up. Break tackle's not great. Stiff arm's not great. Maybe he's not a running back after all. But his catching's at 75. All right, that's nice to hear. We'll have to see how the rest of his receiving attributes play out, but he is also another interesting prospect. Vincent O'Donnell, another quarterback whose throwing attributes we have no idea about. Let's see if we can change that right now. Speed's not great. Injury's good. Stamina's all right. Again, no real relevant information here. The tackle, John Ferguson, who we know has only 68 strength. Let's see if he can up his profile with some good attributes. Impact blocking at 70 is all that we really find out there. Another guy we will keep monitoring. Let's see what we can find out about tight end Derek Williams here. His catching's fine. His release is fine for tight end. That 72 strength we'll take. But can we find out some more tight end relevant numbers? Let's see. 67 route running. Okay. He's got 70 return as a tight end. Okay. 72 strength, 70 impact blocking. Elusiveness and juke moves all right, actually. So he could be another interesting prospect. Wish that catching was a little bit higher, but we'll take it for now. Kellen Chavez and the rest of the crew has already been scouted today. Got that 25% mark with them earlier. So it is now time to get into the fun stuff and figure out how we're going to allocate all these recruiting points This is also the time where I like to offer scholarships to those prospects that I deem worthy, especially the ones that I can already tell are going to be solid recruits. I'm going to look at team needs first, see what the computer at least says we need immediately. And no surprise here, Neil Campbell, the center we are very interested in from Plymouth, Michigan, is getting a scholarship right off the bat. We want to get in this race as fast as possible. We have the biggest bonus, it looks like, out of all of his top schools, so it is definitely within reach, but we have to start the process somewhere. This is a bit of a risky one, but I have faith in what Terrell Burnett will end up being as a prospect. That's my cat. Hi, Mar. Had to just take a break to pet my cat, who was very interested in Terrell Burnett as well. There's a little bit of a risk involved here, giving a scholarship offer to Terrell Burnett when we don't know his tackling or his speed. But I believe in what he can become, and I certainly already believe in the attributes we know, including that 85 hit power, 83 play rec, 76 pursuit, 77 strength, 75 stamina, and even 70 zone coverage as a middle linebacker. And once again, we have the biggest bonus here on the recruiting board, as Marley pops out. Hi. How you doing? This is the MPB Gaming mascot right here, Marley. Oh, she says she doesn't want pets anymore. This is the prospect that's from Mount Pleasant, and I was confused why I didn't see Central in his recruiting board. But Central's actually at 5th right there, right ahead of us. And once again, this is another battle we want to get in. I trust the prospect, and he is getting a scholarship from Marcus Perez Brennan immediately. Another risk in terms of a prospect we're going to offer scholarships to without knowing all of his attributes is Blake Strong. That's 75 power move, 73 finesse move, and 73 block shedding, as well as 77 stamina and 76 play rec. Of course, I'd love to find out his strength and his tackle. But we don't have much time to dilly-dally and think about whether or not we want to offer somebody. We are offering Blake Strong immediately to see if we can get into this race as well. It looks like, in this case, Stanford, Wake Forest, and Rice all have equal to or more of a bonus than Western does. But that doesn't matter. We're just trying to get in this race, and I have faith that our coaches and our program prestige will do the rest. So Blake Strong gets another scholarship as well. I'm actually realizing now there's a couple prospects I totally forgot to give that additional scouting to, including Dan Perry here, one of the only quarterback prospects we even have throwing information on. Let's see what else we can find out about Perry the Platypus. 66 speed is not ideal for our offense, and his rushing attributes are nothing special either. Next up in this scholarship cycle, the guy that honestly should have been the very, very first scholarship offer is going to be Charles Walton. A quick reminder of this cornerback prospect. We don't even know his speed yet, but he's got 85 excel and 90 agility and stamina, respectively. His 79-man coverage is definitely something to build around, and we don't even know his zone or press abilities either. But I am more than willing to take the risk and give Charles Walton this next scholarship offer. Welcome to the club, Charles. Really hope we can get our hands on this 4-star. I think he's going to be special. Now, Chris Jackson is an interesting one here because we are very high up in his interest, and so I definitely want to capitalize on said interest. But we don't know his speed yet, we don't know his acceleration, and we don't know his catching, which I would probably argue are 3 of the most important abilities for a receiver that we want to be our anchor moving forward. Again, though, totally worth taking the risk with a 4-star caliber recruit. Having this much interest in us, there's no way I'm missing this opportunity. And boom, another scholarship is offered to Chris Jackson. Nick Burke is a guy that I thought was a really interesting prospect with 83 speed as the outside linebacker and 81 tackle already defined. His 73 pursuit and 71 press really aren't that bad either. So this is another guy I'm just going to go ahead and give an offer to. Welcome to the club, Nick Burke. Hopefully we can get into the race with this scholarship offer. I am still so confused about Rick Price and how I feel about him. We don't know his speed or acceleration yet, but we know that he has only 58 catching as a wide receiver, and yet has 94 carrying, 74 break tackles, 77 ball carrier vision. And I think at the bare minimum, worst case scenario, we end up just moving him permanently to running back. But as a school like Western Michigan, you do not get the recruits unless you take the risks. So we are also offering a scholarship to 4-star Rick Price. Hopefully that pays off. Now this might be another risky one, but I think I am going to offer a scholarship to Paul Sellers, even though we don't know very much about him still. We do know that he has 78 throw power, which again is nothing special, but it works. And that 71 speed at least allows some kind of flexibility in the run game. So we're going to give him the offer. We're going to need that depth at some point at quarterback anyway, so might as well at least get it rolling. Paul Sellers, congratulations. A scholarship has been offered to you. I know I'm taking plenty of risks already, but I think I'm going to add Phillip Brown to that list of risks. This is going to be the third 4-star receiver we're going to be offering. We already know that his speed is at least doable at 89. And we know his catching at 75. So in my eyes, his floor is relatively high in terms of receivers. I know his route running, release, spectacular catch, and catch in traffic could all end up being horrible. But we'll take what we can get here as the Broncos. Again, we don't have that many playmakers to begin with, so we need to make sure we prioritize any skill players that have some kind of ability. You can throw Jeff Grigsby onto that list of people I probably shouldn't be offering a scholarship this early to, but we'll be doing so anyway. All you have to do is see my last point about getting as many playmakers as possible, and Jeff Grigsby would enter the team as a true freshman as the fastest player on our roster with that 94 speed. So there is no way I'm missing out on that talent. He will at least get a scholarship offer. And the 4-star running back out of Holt, Michigan is added to the list of players we've already offered, as Phillip Brown gets the last scholarship of the week with all of his base attributes at 80 plus, which is awesome so far, in addition to that 75 catching. But with that, we have used all of our scholarships that I'd like to use for this first week. So the next item on the agenda is to start giving out those recruiting points for the week. So Charles Walton's going to have 500 points weekly on top of our plus 245 bonus. And hopefully the scholarship offer we've already given him will combine to help us launch into that top 2, top 3 as soon as next week. We really, really want this prospect, so the second that we are able to start giving more points weekly, you know he's going to be getting a boost. Same goes for Neil Campbell. Our Caliendo replacement, he's getting 500 a week. You know the shtick. Chris Jackson, much of the same. I'm going to go ahead and give Nick Burke 500 as well. I know there's a legit strategy to spread out these points as much as possible early, especially for the ones that you haven't given scholarship offers to. I think we need to prioritize the top talents and just give them as many points as humanly possible early on so that we can build some kind of a lead. Terrell Burnett is going to be that last prospect that gets all 500 as of right now. Blake Strong is going to get about 50. I like Rick Price as a prospect too, so he'll get about 50 as well. The first non-scholarship player to get some points is going to be Darnell Sims. I'm just going to throw him 50. Because he already got that scholarship as a 70 overall, I'm going to refrain from giving Paul Sellers any additional points. But of course, if we find out any relevant information about him and his overall increases, you better believe his points will increase as well. Even though he got a scholarship, I'm going to be giving Grigsby about 50 points. Again, that 94 speed is hard to ignore. Phillip Brown's going to get 50 even though we gave him a scholarship. Just an interesting prospect, so definitely want to get into that race. And then Jeff Grigsby, I think, is actually going to get the last 50 points of the week. Again, that 94 speed is hard to ignore. I know I gave these 2 scholarships, and that was my reasoning not to give Paul Sellers any points. But I know more about these raw prospects, and so I'm more comfortable giving them 50 points. Again, all these weekly points will change drastically as we find out more information and as we add more players to our recruiting board. And with that, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of the cycle for week 1 recruiting. This also puts a cherry on top of what was a tremendous week for the WMU Broncos football program. I still cannot get over that victory in Ann Arbor, but just know that bigger and better things are coming. This is just the beginning. And it also means that it is time to advance to week 2. All right, and just like that, without doing anything, we have one less relevant member on our recruiting board, as Brian Green, the middle linebacker at 62 overall projected, commits to Notre Dame. Shockingly, I don't think that's the biggest loss ever. Taking a look at our coach news and the XP goals that we hit after that stunner in the big house. Got some points for an ESPN Classic, got some points for winning a game, 10 plus first downs. Love to see a lot of these. And even 10 points for kneeling while ahead. Look at that sportsmanship go. Who says there are no concrete rewards to being a good sport? Alright, and just like that, we are into week 2. We've already spent 2,750 of our points. I'm assuming those are all the 500s we've got left. We already know we're going to remove one person from our board this week, and that is the middle linebacker who committed to Notre Dame. There he is, Brian Green. Yeah, bye-bye. Once again this week, I will use all the points I possibly can to scout first and foremost, and I'll reallocate any remaining points I have. So I'm going to jump into that scouting, and I'll show you any notable increases or decreases. We'll be able to get to 50% bare minimum this week of fully scouting everybody on our board. 75% for those that we got a head start on in the preseason. Charles Walton, please show me some money speed. He's got 85 zone coverage, so Charles Walton's actually going to stay up at that 76 rating. Still missing his speed, but 79 man and 85 zone. Wow. I don't remember exactly what other attributes were missing, but overall, he is still looking fantastic. 72 hit power, 77 pursuit, 85 acceleration, the 90 plus and agility stamina. Still very high on Charles Walton. It'll take a lot to harsh that mellow. We find out Neil Campbell's jumping and run block. His run block is a little lower than I thought it would be, but I'll still take that certainly. And those block attributes are still nice, so we'll definitely still take him aboard if we can get him. Marley now wants to be in the video. Next up is Chris Jackson. Let's see what he's got. Please show me that speed or that catching. 92 speed and 86 acceleration for Chris Jackson. We will certainly take that. We can certainly work with that. Terrell Burnett, show me some tackle. Nope, but we got a 77 speed. His power moves, man coverage, not as ideal as I'd like. And his press is not great, but he's a middle linebacker. We're not going to be relying on him for extensive coverage. His real overall is going to be heavily reliant on what that tackle grade ends up being. Darnell Sims. We get zone coverage and stamina. Okay, 77 zone. Decent. Still cool with that. Nick Burke, 69 man coverage. We find out his finesse and block shedding at 75 and 72 apiece. Also not bad. He's a pretty decent linebacker prospect overall. We get Blake Strong's hit power and pursuit. Still waiting on that tackle, but he's still sitting at a 71 projected. Still happy with that. Okay, we find out a couple more things about Sean Joseph. His base attributes have come together. 83 speed, 79 acceleration, 71 jumping, 87 stamina, and 84 agility. We'll take that for sure. And then what? Elusiveness, 76, trucking, 72. Okay. He can definitely be developed into a good running back. Let's find out more about Paul Sellers, shall we? Not going to give us his accuracy yet, but his acceleration and speed match at 71, okay. And he's got okay rushing attributes. I guess he is a true balanced quarterback. Show me some speed on Rick Price. That'd be cool. 94! That is the kind of change we were looking for. And Rick Price gets more and more interesting. What to do with this fella if we can get him. Our scholarship didn't make a huge difference, and we're going to have to actually boost up our rating if we want any chance. But that 94 speed is pretty dang enticing. So I'm going to have to at least put him up to, let's say, 300. I'm definitely going to revisit that. That's either going to go up or down, actually. Honestly, I'm comfortable giving him more. On to Ryan Mason. Don't have a ton of hope for him anymore. And my opinion on him has stayed pretty much the same after that. Let's see if we can get more puzzle pieces for Jeff Grigsby here. Okay, we got the trucking, the juke move at 78, carrying at 55. All right, future return specialist, perhaps? Show me John Mosley. 73 throw power, okay. Definitely nothing special here. We might have to look elsewhere from our board for a quarterback prospect, y'all. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Phillip Brown, who's a very interesting prospect. Let's see if we can find out some more about him. Nothing extremely relevant to his position. Unfortunate to see his elusiveness and juke move so low. He is not going to be a threat with the football, it looks like. Vincent O'Donnell. Can we get some more quarterback attributes? Woof. 75 throw power and 68 throw accuracy with that speed. Sorry, buddy. You're coming right off the board. I'll tell you that right now. Show me some good blocking attributes on John Ferguson. Pass block at 70s, not great. He's not quite going to come off my board unless I'm way behind on him. No, I'm in first place, so he's definitely not coming off the board just yet, but I need that run block to be higher than a 70. Derek Williams, a tight end prospect. What do we find out? His jumping's all right. His pass block is fine. He's got pretty good trucking. Okay, his rushing attributes are pretty good. 6'2", 222. He could definitely be a fullback option. He's interesting. Not quite ready to give him a scholarship, but wow. U of M did already? And the chips? I hate that he's the first of this round of scholarships I'm going to do for this week, but I think I'm going to pull the trigger and offer him right now. Just to stay in that race against Michigan and the chips. Show me something more, Chavez. Okay, 79 speed. His zone and man are not great. This is going to be another guy who's heavily reliant upon his tackle rating. Sam Leslie, giving you another chance, bud. Don't love that acceleration for a D-end, but I'll take 77 coming out of high school. His block shedding at 76 is not bad either. Depends on where his finesse move and his strength ratings are sitting at respectively. Kurt Stephens. Show me something worth getting excited about. His jumping's not bad. Carrying's not bad. Bunch of all-right ratings here so far. Nothing special. Desi Rogers. Very, very slow quarterback prospect, but the best throw power we might have so far, honestly. See what else we can find out about him. Nothing worth finding out. Jordan Hawley. Okay. Stamina, block shedding, and pursuit are all decent. I think I've all but given up hope on this kicker. I'm not going to scout him any farther, that's for sure. Dan Perry's also not very promising. I think I'm going to go ahead and remove him right now, actually. David Mayo, fantastic name. Let's see what else we can find out about him. Catching traffic. Ooh, catching and spectacular catch. Not great for a receiver. What's going on there? He better have some game-changing speed or I'm all but done with this prospect as well. Terrence Sutton, nothing special here either. Further down the board we get, the tougher some of these overalls are. Gabe Daniels, decent enough power moves to keep me interested for a little bit longer. Donald Johnson. Do I want to know what his passing ratings are? That's fine. 72 throw accuracy. I think that's higher than a couple we've seen already today. Oliver White. Show me some kind of good coverage skills. 77 man. Okay. His speed could make him really interesting, actually. Next up, I'm just looking at other people I have not given a scholarship yet, sorting them out by the projected overall. I'm interested enough in Darnell Sims that I'm definitely going to give him a scholarship right now. Want to make sure I can get in that race. And no one of real interest besides him, honestly. They're going to hold off on the rest of these guys until other things clear up. I think I'll actually offer Jordan Hawley here, but he will be the only one left on the board that I'm going to offer a scholarship this week. And I'm going to offer him for two different reasons. One, I'm trying to get that pipeline of Ohio. And two, I'm going to pretend that Ralph Hawley Jr., our very own star defensive tackle, has a cousin named Jordan Hawley from Ohio. That's pretty dang close to where Ralph Hawley Jr. is from. And for those two very different reasons, I will be submitting this scholarship offer right now. But besides that, the only other thing to do is to actually go check out a couple other people available nationally so we can get them scouted and see if we can find any gems in the process. What's up, y'all? I'm back. You may have noticed a costume change, and that is because it is another day. But it is another day of recruiting as well, as we will just leave off right where we just were. We have about 250 points for recruiting left to spend. But before we do that, we're going to check out and see how the recruiting points we used last week affected our races with these respective players. So for example, our scholarship and the 500 points allocated increased our luck substantially here with Charles Walton. We got 110 points closer in this race, but Michigan State still has a comfortable lead and they haven't even offered him a scholarship, so that's a little worrisome. But there's no question we're keeping Charles Walton on the board until he locks us out. Still waiting on the day we find out what his speed rating is. We narrowed the gap a little bit with Neil Campbell, but everybody here has a scholarship in this race. So it looks like this is going to be another slow grind. Looks like we took a commanding lead over Chris Jackson. We are the only ones that have offered him a scholarship, but look at that. First place, we'll definitely take that for now. And definitely going to keep those 500 points weekly pumping in. Because this is still a recruit we definitely want to get our hands on with that 92 speed. And pretty decent ratings across the board. Definitely nervous about what his catching will end up being. But Terrell Burnett, let's see how we're doing in his race. The scholarship and the 500 points didn't do a ton. We are still not even in his top 4. Hate to see Eastern and Central ahead of us. So we've definitely got ground to make up here, but we will keep it going. We still have the highest weekly bonus out of anybody else in this entire race. We jump up pretty handedly on Darnell Sims here. That plus 290 is nice to see. We're one of only 3 to offer him a scholarship so far, including Central. Gross. Might end up putting more points on him, but we'll see how the rest of this board plays out. Nick Burke with a scholarship and the plus 500, still we're not even in his top 4. MSU and Indiana also offered scholarships, so we got some work to do there. Giving Blake Strong 50 plus that scholarship, I guess wasn't enough. We might have to increase this bonus if we even want to stay in this race, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll put him up to 150. And again, we might come back to that. Pretty far behind still on Sean Joseph. Looks like the only thing we'll be able to do to get in this race is offer him a scholarship. But even Louisville did so and lost points this last week. I don't know what Purdue is doing or what they're paying him to jump as much as they have, but might offer him a scholarship depending on the other recruits that we look at. Paul Sellers with just a scholarship and 0 points allocated. We lose 450 points there. That's real tough. If we want to keep in this race, definitely going to have to at least throw in 100 there. Ooh. That happens way too often where I slip and give recruits points I don't mean to give them. But definitely going to keep tabs on that. He is not a definite keep on the board. Looks like whatever we're doing with Rick Price is working. That scholarship and those plus 300 are at least making up ground for us right now. Rick Price is really interesting prospect with that 94 speed and 94 carrying and that 88 route running. I'm still so confused about this guy, but there's no way I don't at least want him on my squad to figure out then what to do with him. His versatility is a good problem to have. Despite the other 3 teams in the race offering scholarships, we are still in a commanding lead of 200 points for Ryan Mason, the JUCO fullback. Not much else to say there. We'll see how the rest of his profile comes together. How we doing on Jeff Grigsby? Ooh, fallen far behind. Despite a scholarship offer, we are 1,000 behind NIU right now. Depending on how the rest of this goes, he may be coming off the board. There's no use in spending this many points on a guy we're just not going to get. John Mosley's a guy that I'm very interested in seeing how his speed plays out. Otherwise, I don't know what to feel about this guy. But as of now, we are 3rd in his running without even offering a scholarship, despite Colorado State and Georgia Southern doing so. So if we really want this guy and find out a couple more nice attributes, I have zero problem offering him a scholarship. Not just yet, though. Phillip Brown's scholarship and 50 points did something because we are now in 1st place. What is his profile looking like? Yes, 89 speed, 81 acceleration, that's 75 catching. Another interesting prospect. We'll see how that goes. 62 overall, John Ferguson, we actually still have a lead over without offering a scholarship. Tight end Derek Williams, we have not made up as much ground as I would have liked. But if we use the points here, we can definitely get in the race. As for the rest of these guys, I'll poke around a little bit. Look at all those team needs, just a little reminder. We need 2 fullbacks, a punter, a kicker, a free safety, a middle linebacker, a D-tackle, a center, and a guard still. Not to mention, we actually need a quarterback and another playmaker with Ella B and Sky Moore on their way out. I'm definitely going to add at least a punter right now, but then the rest of the recruiting board will be filled out with a couple prospects that I'll search for, and hopefully I'll be able to scout them next week and get into those races if there's any promising prospects there. So first things first, I'm going to go look at some Michigan prospects right now. We already know of the ones that have interest in me, but I want to see if there's any other guys that have fallen through the cracks. Okay, and the punter that I added to the board is a +6 with 78 kick power and 70 kick accuracy. So actually we're going to shuffle around some points and try to get him a scholarship because we need a punter and he is not a bad one. To give you a formal introduction, we're looking at Mike Copeland from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's 5'11", 214 pounds, and we are 3rd on his board of interest. So we've got a very real chance to land this guy, and I'm not mad about it. Sadly, I think I'm going to have to take Jeff Grigsby off the recruiting board just a week after offering him a scholarship. I just don't think we're going to be able to get him without using a lot of points. So I'm not going to quite remove him because he's still very, very early in his locked stage. In case some points free up, who knows? But I'm definitely taking away his points and using those points to officially offer Mike Copeland a scholarship. And there it goes. We have offered a punter, and we need that punter, so hopefully he follows through. But outside of that, we've already used all the points that we can this week, so it's time to hop into the second game of the season. San Jose State is coming to Kalamazoo, Michigan to take on the 1-0 Western Michigan Broncos. I hope you all are as fired up as I am, because I know I'm ecstatic. Okay. Yo, this is kind of groovy though. Hey. It was a dark and stormy night, but a bright and shiny day. The world is upside down and I'm feeling okay. Hey.